Alright, now that's the end bay columns for the back of the building. What I'll do is I'll triple click on this particular one here, just it on its own, and take a copy of that one up to the front. It's got to be that one because that's the only one that's going to be in the same position at the front as it is at the back. So I'm just taking a copy with the control key. From there we'll get it on the red axis and shift to constrain it, and then we're going to that front grid line there. Okay, so we've got this column in at the front. We're just going to leave that for now. We'll come back and work on the front area a little bit later, but that'll establish that. For now at the back, what I want to do is I want to start trying to create the back wall cladding to close this in. Now we know what plane it's going to go in. It's going to go in this particular plane here, and if I do a quick measure to remind us of its intersection there to here, it's 280 millimeters off the that back grid line. So to do that, I might make it easier. I've got to create this curved shape at the top, so it might make it easier if I actually hide the roof layer. So if I go to roofing and uncheck visible, next to that the roofing just gets turned off. Now you might recall that the roofing was offset from the centre line of the last rafter member by a distance of 185 millimeters. I'm going to just offset the wall cladding by something like 150 so that it sits somewhat down and doesn't go up and join to the top. So once again I'm just zooming in. I seem to have missed that line there that I'm trying to aim for on that end column. Oh, it's probably on the roofing layer. Hard to see. It is. For some reason it's on the roofing layer now. So you're just going to have to very, very carefully orbit around with your offset tool on and get into this tiny little gap here, because I want another copy of that little line there. Drag it up a distance of 150 and press enter. So you should have that little line there floating underneath that roof now. So now hopefully we can turn off, well, let's make sure that line is on some other layer. So I'll select that line that we've just created, see if I can pick up that line. It's a bit hard to do. A bit hard to get that without getting the roof. So if I get it you just have to try and orbit round to a point where you can pick just that line. There we are. And I'll drop that down. I'll change that to, let's say, the walling layer. Whichever layer you've got it on at the moment, select that line, put it on the walling layer, and then you can come back and hide roofing. So we can see that line just on its own there. So from that now, we can come 15 degrees from the end of that line. It's getting hard to do because we probably can't use our tape measure now, but that's okay. We'll be able to sort that out in a second. I'll come from the end of that line on walling. I'll drop down my layer and be on the walling layer. I'll get a pencil and I'll come from the end point. I'll just initially draw something straight out like that, but then I'm going to rotate it. Pick up the rotate tool, get the orientation in this vertical face by hovering over the top of the vertical face, then pressing the shift key and holding it, then bringing the protractor to the end point of that line. Give it a starting angle, then tip it down. Oops, unfortunately it's picked up the whole rafter. Just escape out of that again. Be careful what you selected. I need to select that line is what I want to rotate. Then I go to the rotate tool, hover on top of this face, press and hold the shift key, end point, give it a starting direction, bring it down, and it's saying parallel to edge, we actually wanted that to be 15 degrees, I'm pretty sure. So I'll come down, give it a rotation direction, type 15 and press enter. So that'll be better, that'll be exactly 15 degrees there. Okay, do the same on the other side. So I'm drawing a line, I'm drawing it straight out. Just undo that, make sure I did draw that straight out. You've got to be very careful. Green rubber band, straight out. Okay, select it, then rotate. Get the orientation of the protractor and constrain it with the shift key. Then move out to the end point. Click a direction along the edge, come down and type 15 for 15 degrees. Okay, so that's starting to give us some of the wall shape. Now I have to move that out, this 280 millimeters, to match what we're working with out here. Just to double check that again. From the intersection where we're working at the moment, straight out is 280 millimeters to match the edge of the wall sheeting. So I'll triple click one of those lines, this one here, pick them all up, and then we'll move somewhere in space in red axis direction and type 280 to bring it out to the 280. So those lines now should be in line with these edges through here. Okay. Now, next little tricky point here. I'll just try this and see how I go first. I want to, I might actually, this would be the easiest way, pick up your tape measure, come off this line that we've created, come out and type 0. So we've created an extension to that, come onto this sloping edge through here, come off there and type 0. And so what we really need to do now is we need to have nothing selected so that we can go to the move command. And then I want to pick up this end point of the line that we drew before, because it didn't quite go out far enough. Pick up that end point and take it out to this point intersection here. Okay, and then you can probably just draw a little closing line down there, I think. We'll see how this works in a second anyway. I'll go do the same thing. We'll clean up our construction lines as we go. We're finished with that now. So pick up tape measure. Lost my little line. Where'd we go? Ah, there it is. Okay, so off that line there. It's getting hard to see with all the other stuff in behind. Off that line there, on edge, come away, type 0. So we've got an extension there. Come on this edge here, come away and type 0. So we should get an intersection point there. So I'm going to try for that again. I'll try and find this end point first, because it seems to be the hardest thing to pick up with all of these things. It's there. Just got an end point there. Then I'll orbit back around, and it's this intersection that I wanted there. And then I'll close off that shape. Now I should now be able to start closing off some other shapes. I probably need to drop the end of this sheeting down first. Straight down, that from memory was 3500, bottom of the sheeting, and then straight across to this corner here, and I was hoping I had closed it off, and it looks like I have. So I tidy up some construction lines. That's looking alright. We're closing off that gap there nicely. Yep, so we might then just turn the roofing back on and see what that looks like. Okay. Right, that's looking alright. Come back out, we go to the front. We'll do a save and stop the video at that point.